Let me ask you something. Have you ever had someone follow you for months, maybe even longer, and then one day they show up in your DMs and they're like, okay, I'm ready. How do I buy? And you think, where in the actual? It didn't come from nowhere. It came from every single touch point that person had with you between the day they found you and the day they're finally ready. And the problem is most women are not staying in the game long enough to collect those touch points. They post for a few weeks, they get frustrated, they decide it's not working, they ghost, then they start posting again, then they ghost, right before a breakthrough. So today I'm gonna give you the framework that explains exactly why your audience isn't buying yet. And it has nothing to do with your offer, your price, or your content quality. It has to do with math and time and showing up in more than one place. Welcome back to Sold Out Sales School. I am Trish, and I'm a former labor and delivery nurse, mom of 7, homeschooling mama, and I have 2 7-figure businesses built by being me, being the expert, and knowing how to speak directly to her main problems, the things she's feeling so that she feels seen. So this is episode 7 of a 9-episode little series, I guess, and we're getting closer to the finish line. Everything we have covered in this series has been building to this because understanding what I'm about to teach you is the difference between a woman who quits right before her business breaks wide open and a woman who stays the course long enough to see what she's actually built. So let's go. From 2022 to 2025, I ran the same micro experience for Labor Nurse Mama over and over again, every 8 weeks, like clockwork. And it was called the Fearless Birth Experience. It was a 5-day live event where I taught pregnant mamas exactly what they needed to know to feel prepared, empowered, and fearless going into their birth. Same event, same content, same offer at the end, every 6 to 8 weeks. And here's what I watched happen consistently, almost without exception. Women would come to the first one and maybe even the second one and not buy. And they would leave having gotten tremendous value and feeling like they met me and they learned so much from me. They would tell us in our DMs and in the comments and in the chat how amazing it was, but they didn't buy. And then 6 or 8 weeks later, I would promote the next one. And some of those same women would come back. They would show up again. They'd get more value, connect with me, experience my teaching again. And some of them would buy that second time and some of them didn't. Then I would promote the next one and some of them came a third time. And by the third time, almost every single one of them bought. Or they didn't even wait for the event. They saw the promotion. They remembered how much they got from the last one. And they knew that I would open cart on the day 3 and they would buy. And here's what's happening that I want you to understand. Those women were not saying no. They were just saying not yet. And especially for pregnant women. So if that's your market, think about it. A woman at 8 weeks is not in the same headspace as a woman at 32 weeks pregnant. She's not ready to invest in birth prep the same way. Life is different. Urgency is different. Budget is different. Mental bandwidth is different. She was not a bad lead. She was not the wrong buyer. She just wasn't ready. And I didn't make any assumptions on that. I didn't decide what that would look like, right? And I kept showing up because I kept running the same event, kept promoting it, kept being in her world when she was ready. And, I was running ads, so she was getting retargeted, which is a huge part of my strategy. I was right there. I was the first person she thought of. I was the one she trusted because she had experienced me multiple times. I was always on her radar. And that, my friend, is the 7-11-4 rule in real life. So here's the framework. Google's research found that before a buyer makes a purchase decision, they need approximately 7 hours of engagement with your brand across 11 different touch points in 4 separate locations. 7 hours, 11 touch points, 4 locations. Now, I want you to let that land for a second because most of you are posting one reel, getting 300 views, making 0 sales, and then deciding your offer isn't working. Your offer is fine. Your buyer just hasn't spent enough time with you yet. She hasn't spent 7 hours with you yet. She hasn't hit 11 touch points. She's only hit 2 or 3. She's only found you in one place. She's not ready. Not because she doesn't want what you have, but because trust takes time and exposure to build, and you are not giving her enough of either. So let me break this down practically. 7 hours of engagement does not mean she watches a 7-hour webinar. It means she accumulates time with you where she spent consuming your content, watching your lives, listening to your podcast, reading your captions, sitting in your micro experience, watching your stories. All of it adds up. 7 hours total, spread across weeks or months. Now, if it's live experiencing you, that's even better. 11 touch points means she needs to encounter you, your content, or your offer 11 separate times before her brain registers enough familiarity to even think about saying yes. One reel is one touch point. One story mention of your offer is one touch point. One podcast episode is one touch point. One email is one touch point. One live is one touch point. 11 of those before she buys. Now, I want you to hear me. I love a good meme. A good meme that's not tied to your offer is not a touch point. It's just fun, right? So I'm talking about 11 mentions, 11 times that you've sold your offer, 11 of those before she buys. And 4 locations means she needs to find you in 4 different places, not just Instagram. Now, when I say this, hear me, because I also tell you one platform for 1 year. But I want you to think about not just your feed, your stories, and your feed, and your podcast, and your email list, and your lives. 4 distinct places. So it can be Instagram, but just 4 different ways. But it also can be being a guest on someone's podcast. It can be being on your own podcast. She just needs to experience you differently in a different frame or fashion. That is why I want to talk to you about something that really is frustrating. And I say this with so much love for every Instagram guru out there who means well. There are a lot of people teaching that reels are everything. Just do reels. Then there's the people who are saying, master the algorithm. You have to post, just carousels and watch your business grow. So here's what I want to say to you. Yes, reach matters, visibility matters, but reels alone cannot build the kind of trust that moves a mom buyer to spend money. And here's why. A reel is a touch point. It's one touch point that lasts about, 8 seconds to 60. It might get her to follow you and it might get her to save your content, but it does not give her the experience of you that makes her think this person is an expert that I want to invest in. So what builds trust? What builds that is going live, your podcast, getting on other people's podcasts, your micro experience, your stories, your email list, the follow-up sequence after someone attends your event. These are the things that accumulate touch points and create multiple touch points across multiple locations. And that will begin to teach her from just a follower into a buyer. So I always tell my clients, just like the bell bottoms came back in style, you need to be doing all the things and not putting all your eggs in one basket. So reels might be trendy, or right now, actually, carousels are, right? So if you're doing all of them and you've got them in multiple places consistently, if you have your reels, if you have your carousels, if you have static images, if you're going lives, if you're going on podcasts, if you're in your stories, if you're sending a weekly email, you're never at the mercy of what the algorithm decides to favor that particular week. You're building something that no platform update can take from you. The next thing I want to talk about is following up. Following up is so important. It's so important because follow-up is, the saying, the fortune is in the follow-up. So most people, they do their micro experience and no one buys, right? Or someone does buy, or some people don't buy, and then they do nothing. They move on and they start creating content for the next thing. That woman who didn't buy is not gone. She's so freaking warm, and she showed up. She gave you her time. She experienced your teaching. She is closer to buying than anyone else in your audience, and you are just forgetting about her because she didn't buy when you told her to. The follow-up is where so much money gets left on the table. So when I promoted the next Fearless Birth experience, I wasn't just talking to new people. I was talking to the women who had already come. And after each Fearless Birth experience, we followed up. We had a series, and we also DM'd them and we chatted with them, right? So if they didn't buy in the follow-up, they were ready to buy at the next micro experience. They had already accumulated the touch points. They just needed a reminder, right? Your follow-up is also a touch point. Your next promotion is a touch point. Your next podcast episode is a touch point. Every single piece of content you create after someone enters your world is moving her closer to that 7th hour and the 11th touch point. That is why consistency is not optional. That is why showing up every day matters. That is why doing the same darn micro experience over and over again, instead of creating something new every single time, is a strategy, not being lazy. You are not being repetitive. You're becoming trustworthy, and trustworthy is what will sell your offer. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. Your audience is not ignoring you. Your buyer is out there. She's accumulating. She's building up the hours that she needs, the touch points she needs before her brain will let her say yes. Your job is to stay in the game long enough to get her there. So post today, even though you didn't get sales from yesterday's post. Run the same micro experience again, even though maybe nobody showed up. I don't care. Keep doing it, girl. Send the follow-up email, even though you feel like you've already said it. Send the follow-up DM. Get in touch with the people. Show up on your podcast, even though downloads feel slow. She's counting. She just hasn't reached 11 yet. And the women who quit at touchpoint 7, they will never know how close they were. So stay in the game, show up in multiple places, follow up without apology, and trust that the math is mathing, even when you can't see it. Next week, we're going to talk about how to collapse that timeline faster than anything else you've ever tried. So make sure you come, because it is my jam. It is my trademark micro experience method, what they are, why they convert 3 times better than any piece of content you will ever post, and how to build yours. So don't miss it. If this episode gave you permission to stop ghosting, stop quitting, subscribe so you never miss a week. We have 2 episodes left in this particular series, and both of them are going to change how you run your business. So share this with the woman who keeps saying her offer isn't working. It might not be the offer. It might just be the timeline. So send her this episode. And as always, I run Sold Out Offer Challenge every 6 to 8 weeks. So make sure you go to trishwarecoaching.com/SOO and check out when the next one is, because I don't know when you're listening to this. And it is going to change everything for you, especially if you are B2C and you sell to consumers, moms, parents. Leave me a review. Please take 2 minutes. It means the world to me, and it helps more women find the show. Remember, always support other female entrepreneurs. We have to support one another. Come find me on Instagram at I am Trish Ware and tell me, what are your 4 locations? Like, what are your 4 locations that you're showing up? DM me. I want to know where you're showing up. All right, friend, that was your cosmic slap on the booty for this week. Stay in the game, stay consistent, and go sell your offer. When you sell your offer, it sells. Okay, bye for now.